All right, so yes, here we go. We got some new official replies from the Space Marine 2 dev team, more data mining discoveries for potential upcoming content, and there's one weapon you should not be sleeping on, and guess what? It's actually a bolter weapon. We've got to dive into this one. Also, looks like things are getting interesting for players in operations mode, and perhaps not in a good way. And players are calling for this one feature to be removed entirely from the game. And will we ever see the Sisters of Battle in the game as well? And yes, we've got some new announcements about modding in Space Marine 2 and much more. Plus, remember, if you are new, welcome aboard. Smack that subscribe button. And yes, leave a comment down below because I will be going over top comments later in the video. But we're going to start out with the data mining. Some really cool stuff has been discovered. And check it out right here. It says upcoming content that I extracted from the game. There's also the Mark 8, but I did not show. So check it out right here. We, of course, have the beaky helmet right here with some really cool customization options. Yeah, it's definitely looking really sleek. And we got some very cool Dark Angels customization options in here as well. Loving the look of this. But a lot of you guys also want to see more customization revolve around cloth. I really hope that they have new types of capes and that sort of thing. But weapons also have some really cool decals and looks to them as well, as you can see right here. Now, we do know that we will be getting some really cool cosmetics for armor and weapons down the road through the season pass. Now, remember, all of this stuff that you're seeing, by the way, is not 100% confirmed. This is data mine stuff within the files. But the good news is that this is lining up with what was officially revealed for the season pass, for season 2 in particular. Dark Angels, we're getting a lot of cosmetic options around that, and then some other cool cosmetic options as we get further into, of course, the year 1 battle plan. But yeah, remember, season 2 is going to be starting up here in October, so we should hopefully be getting some more official teases related to the cosmetics and stuff like that we will be receiving. But yeah, it's looking pretty legit overall. And then we have this out on Twitter. Check it out right here. The real OWG. Don't know if anyone else has noticed this being in the game, but this black-eyed helmet might be an accidental leak or bug perhaps. And check it out right here, looking pretty badass. And then we got a response from the creative director who says, all I can think about is how much I want those skateboard color schemes on my Marines. Hell yes, that'd actually be really cool to see. And by the way, I just got to say, side step here, I'm super hyped for the new skate game. I really hope that turns out really good. But anyway, back to Space Marine 2. And things get very interesting when Arthur Lee, the voice actor of Godrill, posted this right here. Honored to serve the Emperor in Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2. 4+ years of blood plus sweat, Astartes don't cry, and an astonishing achievement by Saber Games. You made Godrill one of the coolest and best looking roles I've ever had the pleasure of stepping into. Yeah, he nailed the role down perfectly. We've got some replies here, which leads into the creative director's reply as well. Check it out. I just have to say, Godrill is my absolute favorite character in Space Marine 2. Tried even finding a Godrill figurine. Your voice is gruesome, beyond perfect for him. I sincerely hope to see and hear more in the future, and looking forward to it, hopefully in Space Marine 3. And we got a reply here from our creative director who says, Arthur brought so much to Godrill. He was a fantastic actor to work with. I definitely intend to explore his character in future stories. I hope someone writes a novel with him. That would also be cool to see more standalone stuff around Godrill and his story specifically. But yes, it goes to show that we will be seeing more of Godrill in the future. But what would you guys like to see in particular? Sound off down in the comments below. Also, we have this right here. I know this is extremely far-fetched, but seeing quite a few ideas, posts, and suggestions about it, but no comments on them yet. Any chance of having one class that is an Adeptus Sororitas, Sister of Battle? And the response is this: hey, I have talked a bit about this before. We have a lot of requests for this, but we'll need to think about it a great deal. It's more complicated than it seems. We are huge fans of the Sisters, though, I can assure you. And here's a really good example of what the Sisters of Battle actually look like. Let me know if you would like to see something like this in Space Marine 2 or the Space Marine franchise down the road. Sound off in the comments down below. Very curious about your take on that one. But also, we got some interesting things happening in operations, particularly at higher difficulty levels. And it's bringing up the question, should they remove a feature entirely from the game? We got to start right here. It says this: I'm instantly kicking everyone who has no place in Ruthless. Valor Crest completion was at 9.8% before the nerf. It went up to 12.5%. This shows two things. Number one, the player base general ability to learn new mechanics, adapt to them is abysmal. And number two, these players expect good players to carry them through Ruthless. My little protest against ruining the fun for us by nerfing it is, well, to put it simply, I refuse to carry them. You join a match, and you obviously have no place in Ruthless with your gear. Kick. Oof. Let me know how you guys are taking this one. Got some replies here. Only proves using Steam achievement percentage as an argument means nothing. I had a game that was very popular, forgot the name, and you got an achievement for just booting the game, and it said 1% had it, so take that how you will. So yeah, to base off that entirely is just ridiculous. But it goes to show that also how players are using the kick function as a way to revolt against the game itself, or even like the community in some weird way since patch 3 has been out, which I just think is kind of like nuts to punish the player base just because you're fed up with how the difficulty has been adjusted. You also have to remember that we are going to be getting a brand new difficulty eventually, so I just say wait for that as well if you're wanting even more of a challenge. But because some players are abusing the kick function, it brings up this discussion right here. Remove the kick function once an operation game starts. People only use it to troll. Just got kicked from an operation a few seconds before the end for no reason. Do you guys think they should remove it entirely once an operation starts up? Do you think it needs to be adjusted at all? But we also have some replies saying this. Either have been very lucky because I've never been kicked from a game, or I have to wonder if there's a reason for you being kicked. Yes, because you know who you're playing with in the lobby. The kick function during matches has a reason, albeit it can be abused. Sadly, that's something that can always happen. And this person brings up the point, I believe, of kicking trolls is more important than getting troll kicked. You must, I guess he's saying you must have an option to at least remove griefers. And then it says, and then you'll complain that you can't remove griefers. People typically won't kick for no reason. If they do kick you, they usually rationalize that you're eating all the pickups or executions and thus deserve to be removed. Also, if you're in lobby with 2 solo players, you can't be kicked unless both vote to kick you. The only time the host can kick you without a vote from other players is if they're in a party with other players beforehand. Now, I myself, my personal experience with this is I have never been kicked ever from a match, especially like near the tail end of an operation when you're like on the boss battle or what have you. So that has not happened to me once yet. Hopefully it doesn't start happening. But yeah, let me know if you guys are having major issues with this or have not faced this whatsoever. But I get why there is an option to be able to kick players, especially if players are trolling and they're not reaching the extraction point or something like that. That can be a real issue for sure. We're going to talk about the Heavy Bolter Relic on Ruthless. Check it out right here. Here is real time to kill data. It's posted by, let's get the name here, Different Recording 1. And he has collected some really valuable information, but most importantly, he does show the perks that you need to really get this right. Let me start this over for you guys. You guys can pause the screen to determine what perks you need to have set for your, of course, heavy, so you can really utilize this weapon. And I guess it becomes extremely powerful and worthwhile. And here's the relic version right here, as well as the tree for that relic. You guys can like pause the screen if you want to. And he says this, because I'm legit pissed by people saying Heavy Bolter is a bad weapon or that whatever. No, it is not. Heavy Bolter is at the moment one of the best overall weapons in the game, if not the best weapon overall. Okay. Posting my perks, weapons, my proof of the difficulty, tabulation aspects, info, and the name of the guys I am with, and the actual spot of the TS plus TTK. Now the TS is put in execute state in under than 4 seconds from spawn and is killed in less than 6, considering a freeze time of almost a second before I need to change my mouse. Now 540 bolt start. He is in execute state of at 518, which is 22 bolts, not the 100 stupidity some boys want you to believe it needs. Now from spawn to execute state, less than 4 seconds with 1 second mouse freeze, 22 bolts, far from 100. Plus, consider that is a lot or not. It's less than 5% of the total ammo of the weapon, and it allows me to do multiple rooms and waves without trouble. Now, 23,000 damage at the end of the mission, following that I deal an average around 20k damage, and that my peak damage with the Heavy Bolter was 38,000. Not too shabby. Now, we have an edit here for people talking about the nerf TS got. It's simply irrelevant. It is 10% minus health in worst case scenario, not 50%. In most situations, you are not going to notice a 10% decrease health on time to kill. And if you want to be happy, you can add 0.35 seconds and 2 bolt shots to the thought process. This leaves us with 4 seconds TDK less steel, but whatever, and 24 bolts used. My point stands. Okay, heavy bolter is the best choice for heavy players as long as you know a little about what you are doing. You are melting bosses, you are melting Majoris, and you are shredding swarms and waves. You call cancel ultra easily from super far, plasma pistol or heavy bolter, and you heal almost as good as the multi-melta. No, the heavy bolter does not need an up. Neither does it need a nerf. It's in a perfect spot at the moment, and I am far from being the best player, or even among the best players in the game. I'm an average guy of an average age with video game as my hobby. Just get better. Oh, or accept to play on lower difficulty. There's zero shame to do so, as long as you have fun, which is the most important thing. And he has a link here to the full run that you could check out as well with the weapon. He has proof, in other words. And he goes on to say, yes, relic weapons are mostly all good, and yes, relic weapons are mostly overpowered for Ruthless, as it is where you have to unlock them. And yes, I resumed to using more artificer tier weapons recently because, in my opinion, relics are a 5th difficulty tool. And yes, the TTK between a purple and gold HP is different, but pretty negligible anyway. Which also, a lot of people say that shouldn't be the case. Ruthless should always be better. So yeah, let me know how you guys take this. If you are actually going to try out the heavy bolter after hearing this, or if you're already utilizing it and say, hey, yeah, it's in a perfect spot. It doesn't need a buff or any sort of additional balancing or anything like that. Now, also, we got to talk about modding, because if you have modded Space Marine 2, you might have noticed some problems. And we do have some comments here from some of the core modders who said this out on the modding Discord. It says this right here. It seems we've hit an unexpected roadblock. Our current method of modding the game has stopped working. This is more than likely done by the devs to protect the PvP from various hackers and cheaters. As a result, I've temporarily archived all mods until we can resolve the crashes caused by editing pack or pack cache files. And he goes on to thank everyone for the patience here. But another update, more recent update, says apologies for the mass ping, but I wanted to share that all my Nexus mods are now back online if you missed this. I've also included a detailed guide in the mod descriptions to help you get them up and running smoothly. Check them out when you can. So yes, he's also going to be updating all the mods to be more compatible with the new version of Space Marine 2. So yeah, I'll give you guys some updates as to when all of that will be rolling out. But yes, it seems like with every update, you've been warned. If you are modding Space Marine 2, expect some significant issues to happen if you do not have a plan in place to kind of like revert back to the vanilla version of Space Marine 2 during an update, or you might have to wait it out for mods to be updated. And who knows how long that takes. That is completely dependent on how quickly the actual mod teams move. All right, so now it's time to get into your top comments. Remember, as always, leave a comment down below. And for those that are new, smack that subscribe button. Join the OWG family and be sure to stay updated on all things Space Marine 2. But let's dive into your top comments here. It says this right here. I'd like them to add power axes and chain axes. Now, we did get some replies from the dev team about, I believe it was one of the two or both, but they said that they are very interested in that sort of thing, but adding new weapons takes a lot of time and resources. So that's up in the air right now, but man, that would be absolutely badass. At least we know we will be getting like new skins and looks and cosmetics for a lot of the stuff that we love. All right, so yes, we have this one right here as well. To this day, I'll never understand why Space Marine 3 is even getting thrown around. Space Marine 2 hasn't even had time to marinate yet. The devs are already talking about a new Space Marine game. Let's fix the gaping holes the current game has first before jumping ship. Again, you know, they've had comments about that one. They have absolutely zero plans to jump from this ship that is Space Marine 2. They really want to support it in the long term. Yeah, they have that year one battle plan, but honestly, I want to hear them say, hey, we are going to support this for like 5 freaking years. But they have used World War Z Aftermath as a basis as to how they just do not abandon games. So in my opinion, things are looking very, very good for the long-term support of this game. I just think people want like more, you know, a lot more. Like I would love to have 12 operations by the end of this game's life. But that's asking for a lot, I know. But that would be so cool if they could just keep rolling out the new operations. I would love that sort of thing. All right, next up, we have this. I wish they would add friend requests. I played with some awesome Battle Brothers, but unfortunately I had to go. I'd really like to play with them again. Yeah, you know, surprised they don't have something like that already built in. Maybe down the road they can expand that. as well, or at least get that into Space Marine 3. But they do need to improve the lobby and social elements of the game for sure. All right, so yes, there it is. The latest happenings around Space Marine 2. Stay tuned for more news and updates. As always, you guys know it. I have you guys covered. And I will see you all next time. Take care.